Well, Coach K, he's on record as saying there have been two opposing players who really stood out: Michael Jordan, Len Bias.
June 17, 1986, Madison Square Garden. 22-year-old Len Bias is about to experience the greatest moment of his life. The Boston Celtics have just won the NBA championship. Larry Bird is the league MVP. Boston is already the best basketball team in the world. And somehow, the defending champions had a second pick in the NBA draft. Cleveland takes Brad Daugherty, number 1.
For the first pick in the 1986 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Brad Daugherty of the University of North Carolina.
Brad Daugherty, the number 1 selection. He has no family here with him.
Boston is next, and the Celtics select Len Bias.
In the draft, you've gotten your wish. Why did you want to go there?
Well, they're a good team, and they got a good supporting players. I can go up there and sit on the bench, or whether go in there and play or not, and I'll learn a lot from the players there, or learn a lot from playing myself.
So you feel that you will be able to accept the role of being a bench warmer for a while?
I guess so. I'm going to have to.
Now, you said that you have come nowhere near your full potential. Just what do you think your potential is?
Well, I think I need to improve more on my ball handling and my all-around play, but I think vastly I need to improve on my ball handling and just keep working on my game.
Well, you said you wanted to play basketball, model clothes, and do some interior designing. You're going to have plenty of time to do that and probably plenty of money.
6'8", explosive, powerful, 2-time ACC Player of the Year. One of the greatest players in Maryland basketball history. Bias puts on the Celtics cap. He smiles. His family celebrates. Boston believe it has just drafted another piece of his dynasty. But look at this picture, because nobody here knows what's coming. Not Len, not his family, not the Celtics. In less than 48 hours, Len Bias will be dead. He will never attend an NBA training camp, never play an NBA game, never score an NBA point. And basketball will spend the next 4 decades asking, what if? Before Len Bias became one of basketball's greatest what-ifs, he was becoming one of college basketball's greatest players. And what's interesting is, it didn't happen immediately. Bias stayed close to home and attended the University of Maryland. As a freshman, he averaged only 7.2 points per game. But then, the transformation started. Sophomore year, he averaged 15.2 points. And then in his junior year, he averaged 18.9 points per game. And by his senior season, Bias had become a superstar. He averaged 23.2 points per game, 7 rebounds, more than 54% shooting, and back-to-back ACC Player of the Year awards. Then there were performances that showed exactly why NBA scouts were fascinated. In February 1986, Maryland went into Duke, and Bias scored 41 points.
For this Georgia Tech and North Carolina showdown, 10 seconds to go. Len Bias going for a 40-point night, and he does it with a vengeance. It is all over. The final score from Cameron Indoor Stadium here at Duke, the Blue Devils 80, the Maryland Terrapins 68.
This wasn't just athletic potential anymore. Len Bias was ready for professional basketball. The only question was, where was he going? And this is what makes the story even more unbelievable. Bias wasn't drafted by some struggling franchise. He was drafted by the Boston Celtics. The 1985-86 Celtics won 67 games in the NBA championship. Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson. Bias wouldn't have to save Boston. He could learn from champions and eventually become the bridge to Boston's next generation. Imagine being a Celtic fan that night. Your team just won the championship, and now you're added one of the most exciting young players in America. It seemed almost unfair, but Boston would never get to see him play. The day after the draft, Bias traveled to Boston with his father. He met with the organization. His professional life was beginning. Then he returned to Maryland. And during the early morning hours of June 19th, everything changed. Bias was inside a University of Maryland dormitory suite with friends and teammates. Cocaine was being used. At approximately 6:30 in the morning, Bias suddenly collapsed. Emergency help was called.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm talking about someone needs, Len Bias needs help. Well, it doesn't matter what his name is. What's the problem?
Attempts were made to revive him. He was rushed to the hospital. Doctors continued fighting to save his life. But at approximately 8:50 a.m., Len Bias was pronounced dead. He was 22 years old. Less than 2 days earlier, he had become the second pick in the NBA draft. America wanted an explanation. How could a world-class athlete, seemingly standing at the beginning of an incredible future, suddenly be gone? The medical examiner eventually determined that Bias died from cocaine intoxication, which triggered a fatal cardiac event.
Nothing that would indicate something bad was about to happen.
Mr. Bias died of cocaine intoxication, which interrupted the normal electrical activity of his brain, which controlled his heartbeat.
And suddenly, this wasn't just a basketball story anymore. Investigators wanted to know what happened inside that dorm room. Who was there? Where did the cocaine come from? And was anyone criminally responsible? Bias' friend Brian Trimble became a central figure in the investigation. Maryland players Terry Long and David Gregg were also indicted on drug-related charges. The charges against Long and Gregg were eventually dropped. Trimble went to trial, and in 1987, he was acquitted of charges connected to the Bias case. But the consequences of Len Bias' death were already spreading far beyond basketball. The University of Maryland came under intense scrutiny. Questions were raised about athletics, academics, and environment surrounding the basketball program.
An All-American basketball star? Imagine having the current NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, make you their #1 pick in the college draft. That is the stuff of dreams for a 22-year-old. And that is what happened to Len Bias. But the dream ends there. Len Bias died Thursday morning of what doctors believe was a heart attack.
Eventually, Maryland Athletic Director Dick Doyle resigned. Legendary basketball coach Lefty Drizzle also resigned later in 1986. But something even bigger was happening nationally. America was already escalating its war on drugs, and the death of Len Bias became a powerful symbol. Here was a 22-year-old elite athlete, successful, famous, days away from beginning an NBA career, and cocaine had killed him. Congress passed major anti-drug legislation later that year. Bias' death did not single-handedly create America's drug laws, but his death intensified the national fear and political urgency surrounding cocaine. A basketball player's death had become part of a national political conversation. But for basketball fans, there was another question, a question that never went away. Not because he wasn't talented enough, not because he got cut, not because an injury ended his career, because his NBA career ended before it ever began. And maybe that's why we're still talking about him. In 2021, 35 years after his death, Len Bias was inducted into the National Colgate Basketball Hall of Fame.
Ceremony at the College Basketball Hall of Fame with honors going to the late Len Bias, the basketball phenom, tragically never getting his chance to play in the NBA. And we are hearing from his mother in a rare interview.
What I saw was my son. I saw my son, Len Bias. But it wasn't until he died that I understood the magnitude of who this man was.
Recognition of something that sometimes gets forgotten underneath the tragedy. Len Bias was already a great basketball player. Go back to that picture one last time. June 17, 1986. Len Bias was wearing the Boston Celtics cap. 22 years old. His family celebrated. His future seemingly sitting right in front of him. Less than 48 hours later, he was gone. And basketball was left with a question it could never answer. Would Len Bias have become an all-star, a champion, a Hall of Famer? Could he have extended the Celtics dynasty? Could he have become one of Michael Jordan's great Eastern Conference rivals? We'll never know, because on June 17, 1986, the Boston Celtics drafted their future. And 2 days later, that future was gone. If Len Bias had lived, how great do you think he would have become? Let me know in the comment section. And subscribe to Digital Sports channel for more documentaries about the stories that become bigger than sports. And as always, I appreciate you for tuning in, and I'll catch you at the next one. It's your boy Dizzle. I'm out. Peace.